All right, folks, welcome back. Today I want to talk about stainless steel media for your wet tumbler. Doesn't that sound exciting? Now, I ditched dry tumbling about, I guess, 5 years ago and switched to wet tumbling and couldn't be happier. Like, wet tumbling is the way to go. If you haven't made the switch, you need to go ahead and make the investment. Now, what I have is the Frankfort Arsenal Rotary Tumbler, the FART. Back when I got this guy, I think it was over $200. These days you can get them down around $180, but this has been a great unit. It is gigantic, like the drum is huge, you can fit tons of brass in there. It's never given me any problems whatsoever. And these days there's a Frankfort Arsenal Light version available that's a little bit smaller drum, and it's about $99. I haven't had a chance to play with it or even see any reviews on it yet, but if it's anything like the original FART, it should be a pretty good unit. Because to be honest, the drum on the original is just, it's too big. Like when you're trying to do a small batch, it seems ridiculous putting a little bit of brass in that big, huge drum. So if you're out shopping, looking to get into this, definitely check out the light version. Lots of other companies have jumped in as well. There's like a Lyman Cyclone that's about the same price as the big Frankfort Arsenal, like $179. There's an RCBS. I saw it on sale recently for about $150. But the cheapest way to go is to get one of these dual drum tumblers from Harbor Freight. You can get one of these guys for $44. Now, it doesn't come with any stainless steel tumbling media like all of the others will, but still pretty cheap. The drums are very small. So there's a lot of people out there modifying this and using 3 and 4 inch PVC pipe and making their own drums and stuff. There's a whole like group of people modifying the Harbor Freight dual drum tumbler to get the most out of it. So that's a whole other subject. But I finally picked up one of these just to test it out. I'm going to be doing a new beginner's guide to reloading here in a few months, and I thought that might be a good unit to recommend for beginners. So I picked one of those up recently. So back to the subject of today's video, the tumbling media. Well, my Frankfort Arsenal unit came with 5 pounds of steel pins. Yeah, here they are right here in this baggie. And I was surprised to find out, I put them in this bag and weighed it, and I still have 4 pounds, 15 ounces. So I've only lost about an ounce of steel pins over the years, lost down the drain or wherever. And honestly, I thought it was going to be more. But lately, my results are getting worse and worse. Like, I have to tumble my brass longer, and the results just aren't quite as good. And I think what's going on is I've worn out these pins. The sharp edges are rounded off, and it's just not doing as good a job at cleaning my brass. So with the performance of my Frankfort Arsenal kind of getting worse and worse, and I just got this new Harbor Freight, I went out into the market looking for replacement media, new stainless steel pins. This crap is not cheap, man. If I wanted to go back to Frankfort Arsenal and get their replacement media, 5 more pounds is about $50 on Amazon. That's about the best price I found. You can get a 2 pound kind of refresher for about $25. But I didn't want to spend 50 bucks on some new pins. There's a website called stainlesstumbling.media.com that's a little bit cheaper. Their 5 pound bags of pins are $40. There's a guy on eBay selling pins. His name is GunTapcom, and for 5 pounds he was charging $30. So we're getting there, right? We went from 50 for the Frankfort Arsenal down to 40 at stainlesstumbling.media.com, and then down to 30 bucks on eBay. But the cheapest price I found was on Facebook. There are some folks called Southern Shine Media selling 5 pound bags of tumbling media for $26.70. So almost half the price of Frankfort Arsenal. Now, their stuff is a little bit different. It's actually stainless steel chips rather than pins. Let me give you an up-close view of this stuff. Very different. I first heard about this stuff, it was a couple years ago. A viewer had recommended it to me. It's been so long I don't remember who it was, but this stuff has been out there for a little while, so I thought I would give it a shot. I went ahead and picked up 10 pounds of it. They sell it in 5 pound increments. So I got 10 pounds for $44.20. I figured that would be plenty to have, you know, enough to replace the media in my Frankfort Arsenal and also have some more to kind of play around with the Harbor Freight tumbler as well. And sometimes in the past, when I'm using my Frankfort Arsenal with that gigantic drum and I'm doing a really large batch of brass, sometimes it felt like I didn't quite have enough pins. So I figured with 10 pounds, if I ever wanted to just kind of add more pins to the mix, I would have plenty to do that. Now, the results so far are excellent, like really, really excellent. I had this big batch of 223 that we've been shooting for quite some time now. So it had 4 or 5 firings on it. It'd been, tumbled a bunch. And I put this entire batch, which is probably around 300 pieces, maybe a little bit more than that. I put it into the Frankfort Arsenal Rotary tumbler with about 6 or 7 pounds of these chips. And these primer pockets, the primer pockets are just perfect. Like a lot of times with my Frankfort Arsenal pins, there would still be a little bit of gunk left down in there. They would be mostly clean, but these are just perfect. And if I can get my camera to focus just right, I tell you what, I need to go get a flashlight. Stand by. Okay, there we go. It only took me about 15 minutes to find a flashlight, but look down inside of those guys. I can't believe how clean it got. The video is not going to really do it justice, but yeah, that's a decent view there. Like, it is perfectly clean down in there. If my steel pins ever did this good of a job, it's been a long time since they did this good of a job. So that batch was awesome. That was with the big drum and like 7 pounds of this media. And that was a 2-hour tumble. Now the Frankfort Arsenal unit has got a timer on it that goes up to 3 hours. With my pins, I've been doing 3 hours lately just because that's what it took to get things looking the way I want. But I mean, with these, I might be able to go down to a 1-hour tumble. I don't know. We'll see. Now this is some 6.5 Grindle Lapua brass. This was tumbled in the little Harbor Freight tumbler. I put 50 pounds of it in there and maybe like a ½ pound of the stainless steel chips. This was a 30-minute tumble. So you can see down in the primer pocket, a little bit of goop still down in there. So 30 minutes in the tiny little drum got me this. Still pretty darn good. Now, one thing they mentioned on their Facebook page is that I guess whatever equipment they use to make these stainless steel chips, they also use for processing just standard carbon steel. So it's normal to get some regular steel pieces in there and see some rust whenever you're first starting out. And I've definitely seen that. So some rusty bits for the first little while are normal, and eventually they'll just disintegrate and go away. So no big deal. I was expecting it, and I don't see how it would affect its effectiveness. You know, seems to be fine. So that's it, folks. I was never really planning to make a video on this, but the results have been so good, I felt compelled to do so. If you've been wet tumbling for a while and your results are starting to slowly get worse and worse, you know, get yourself some new media. And if you're wanting to do it cheap, this Southern Shine Media stainless steel chips seems to be a pretty good option. You can go to their Facebook page and message them on Facebook, or you can also just send an email to southernshinemedia1@gmail.com. You send them an email that says, hey, I want 10 pounds, or hey, I want 5 pounds, and then they'll message you back with a PayPal invoice that you pay through PayPal. That's how I did it. It worked really fast. They were quick to reply. I think they had it in the mail the next day, you know, standard priority flat rate postal service shipping, and I had it in 2 or 3 days. So it worked out pretty well. And their prices include shipping. Like I mentioned, I bought 10 pounds. It was $44.20. So it's all good. This is a really great option if you're looking to get into the Harbor Freight unit, you know, try and do wet tumbling as cheap as you can, and you're going to go with one of the Harbor Freight units. You get 5 pounds of this stuff, that'd be more than enough for you. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys next time.